We are live. Man, this is Seth from S.E.T Key Media here with Key Man, back with another one. We got an insane story for you, man. Man, let's get right into it.
This is crazy. I'm talking crazy, 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 crazy. Stop everything. Pay attention. If you're driving, pull over. Just kidding. You don't have to pull over. You can keep driving. But you just prepare yourself for what is happening right now in France. So let me give you guys the background. Emmanuel Macron is the president of France. He is married to Brigitte Macron, okay? Their love story has always been extremely weird and extremely creepy. She is 70 years old, allegedly, and he is just 46 years old. So already right there, you have a 24-year age gap between them.
It's crazy how this was never used as an example of age gap dating. Like this was like hidden or something.
We know they always look at the men that are, you know, older in those age gap relationships versus the women. They don't ever get the same.
Because bro, you remember this guy? This was the same guy that was partying while France was having a riot.
Oh yeah, this is France's president that let their country get torn apart in the last
and he was
3,
clubbing.
4, 5 years. Yeah.
And at the very least, just looking into their love story, you're looking at what might be, because they changed the age throughout the years, a story of pedophilia. I'll tell you what their official narrative has been. The official narrative is that when Emmanuel was just 15 years old, he was a drama student at a school, and his teacher was Brigitte. And while he was very young, they somehow managed to fall in love. That would have made Brigitte way too old to be falling in love with a 15 or 16 or 14-year-old, depending on which article you're reading. But yes, apparently she was just so moved from his depth, this little boy's depth and the poetry and the way that he would write, that they fell in love, so much so that the now First Lady left her then husband, despite the fact that they had 3 kids.
God damn. So she pretty much talked bro out of her. So the young president pretty much talked old girl out of her panties and her husband.
Wait a minute.
Like,
Yep. It's sick, and nobody wants to talk about the pedophilia and the dynamic of older women preying on younger men with potential, with power. But that happens a lot of times.
Drea.
That happens so many times.
with the Drea and Jalen Green situation.
Yep, that's the most recent one I could think of.
But nobody want to talk about female predators.
Countless other times we done seen this shit happen where we got female predators just out in the open doing they shit. Nobody's calling them out because they look good. They got fat ass.
Yeah, that's facts.
Okay, so that's the background story. Nobody cares. Doesn't matter. It happened so long ago. Now she's the First Lady. We should celebrate her. No, some major update now happening. Major update. So let me tell you about how I happened upon this story. There was just an article that was published in the Daily Mail. Here is the headline. The proof France's First Lady wasn't born a man. What? I was going, what? So I, of course, instantly read it, because what a bizarre thing that you're even needing to present proof that Brigitte Macron was not born a man. And embedded within the article, they showed 2 photos, and I'm going to show you right now. This is the first photo. This is allegedly Brigitte Macron when she was a little girl sitting on her mom's lap. But when I saw this photo, the first thing I noticed was that
Yeah, so when she first exposed the photo, everybody was like, "Oh yeah, this is supposed to be her," or I think they said, I think it's supposed to be her.
Such a
Yeah,
cute
but here's the
girl.
actuality. They said this young man right here is the president, is the First Lady or the president's wife. So everybody remember that old little conspiracy theory of Michelle Obama is actually a man? Ain't it kind of crazy how the French First Lady possibly might be a man?
person on the far left, the
They
boy,
say females can't leave
that
the
actually
country.
looks
They
like
got
Brigitte Macron.
Gotta throw some undercover niggas in there. Gotta throw
She
some
said,
undercover niggas
she
in
said
there.
the first female president is gonna be a trans woman.
Damn near.
Like,
Damn
ain't
near.
no way. Key's wild predictions.
I'm calling it now.
I'm taking you guys through my thought process. I saw this photo. I was like, that actually looks like she might actually be the guy. Maybe she's a dead ringer for her brother, but I don't see any resemblance there with the little girl. They showed the second photo, debunking another young photo, allegedly, of Brigitte Macron. But I thought when I looked at this photo that this looks way...
Yeah, the lady is 70 years old. Like, why does this shit look so like it just got a white over it?
AI.
It's like, bro, this lady's older than my mom, and I can't find pictures that good of my mom as she's a kid. Like, what? That makes no sense.
Way
Shout out
too
ChatGPT.
new to be a photo of a 70-year-old when they were a child. Now, again, these are my thought processes. When I then read the article, there was no debunking whatsoever. They just were calling people that were saying otherwise far right, all the typical buzzwords, far right, conspiracy theorists, racist, sexist, it's homophobic, it's anti-Semitism. Just the thing that we are all now able to immediately look through. These names don't mean anything anymore. And that just makes me want to look further into the alleged theory. And I did. And holy smokes. So the quote unquote conspiracy theory is actually a 3-year thorough investigation that was conducted by journalists that were working with genealogists. It was published in 6 issues in Faits et Documents. I'm sorry, my French is not that good, but they published 6 issues unpacking what they had discovered after a 3-year investigation. And here is what they are saying, right? So again, I'm going to say allegedly, but this is what they have published. Their theory is that the First Lady, Brigitte Macron, was actually born Jean-Michel. So Brigitte is actually John Michael. John Michael lived as a man for 30 years, fathered 5 children, okay, and then transitioned at the age of 30 to become Brigitte.
Whoa, what the fuck? Like, hold on.
Yo.
Wait a minute.
But bro had 5 kids. Hold on. So as she lived as a man from 1 to 30, had kids, then all of a sudden, okay, now I want to be first lady.
Only a man.
Only a man.
Only a man could do some shit like that. Cause ain't no female getting that shit off.
Bro, ain't no way.
Ain't no female moving and grooving throughout politics like that. Only a man could do some shit like that.
Bro, that's just some
I
shiesty guy
I
shit.
swear. Man with power. She just put up the ultimate white man move.
Man.
Okay, now I'm just going to show you this before and after photo, just right here. They actually used, as a part of their investigation, Chinese software. And this is a side-by-side. It is such a dead ringer. It's crazy to me that
Chinese AI.
You would not say that these 2 individuals look alike. This is potentially the same individual age. So on the left, what I'm showing you is John Michael. On the right is a photo of the First Lady, okay? Now, I will tell you why this has legs and why I'm going to encourage you to read the
Same features,
very
y'all. Same features, just aged.
long document that I read, which we will include in the link in bio. The first obvious reason that I am very much believing what they have published is because the First Lady is simply unable to produce any photos of herself throughout the first 30 years of her life. Guys, how easy to debunk this? If you say, Candace, no, actually, you lived as a man for 30 years. I lived for 30 years. I'm going to show you every photo of every year.
Pull up all my childhood photos. I was a cute ass baby.
Oh, God, though.
I'm going to pull up the photos of me at the water park. Me with my family. We was at Disneyland. All this good shit.
Bro, if somebody was down me as a man, I'll just be like, bro, what? Bro,
you mean?
I got hella photos, man.
Hell
Like, somebody call my
yeah.
mama real quick. I can prove that.
I was the cutest little baby. You better stop playing with me.
Bro, and now you're over here scrambling for fucking words or scrambling for pictures of AI and shit going on.
Chinese AI.
It's like, all right, but we can't tell them the truth.
Come on,
They
man.
found out.
We got to put out some doctored photos, some altered images.
that I've lived. Here's me in college, right? Here's me while I was pregnant with my children. Here's me and my husband on our wedding day. There would be
Something
so
only a
many
female could
photos
do.
that Brigitte should have at her disposal if this is false. But they won't produce any. Nope, they're just calling all of everybody wrong and backwards and transphobic. Just produce the photos. Instead, the only photos they have produced that are circulating in the media are the photos that I
produce
just
no
showed you.
photos if there
And
are
as I
none.
said, the first photo, she looks more like the John Michael, who she claims is actually her brother, who she won't just present to the public. If that is in fact your brother, please just go on a walk with him so we can capture it and say, no, she just happens to look like her brother. Here's John Michael. No, John Michael has disappeared. The genealogist just can't find a single trace of John Michael since Brigitte came into the public space at the age of 30. So John Michael existed for 30 years, according to the genealogist, okay? And then John Michael stops existing and Brigitte exists. But Brigitte
So like, yeah, damn, they couldn't get my nigga a death certificate or something. Like they could have did it a little bit cleaner.
Nope.
Like, bro, we're about to kill this guy, and then we're about to try to make him seem like my brother later on. So at least we could do is get this man a death certificate. I go in as this new woman. They could have at least covered their tracks a little slicker. Like
They
even
said nope.
even I'm thinking about it, going like, well, y'all could have did a little better than that.
They ain't give a fuck. They did their job sloppy and said, hey, this is the best we can do.
They'll go with it. And you know, it's funny now. There's all these pictures coming out online where she's standing up. You can see a bulge down there.
Hey, yo.
Yeah, wild, like wild as shit.
That is crazy.
Yep, out there looking at that girl, you might see some balls.
Brigitte doesn't exist for the first 30 years, okay? The second photo, the one that I said to you looked a little too recent for an alleged 70-year-old, well, yeah, they were able to debunk that. That's actually a photo of her daughter, her daughter Trefane. You can see now side by side. Of course, that is her daughter. It's a dead ringer for her daughter. So why would you colorize a photo and make it black and white and try to pass it as yourself when it is in fact your daughter? Now, I'm sure somebody will say, well, it didn't come to...
Yeah, I made that argument earlier. Like, bro, you're 70 years old. There's no way there's that nice of a photo with such quality in it 70 years ago or 65 or 60 years ago when you was 10. We just didn't have that.
It don't make sense.
Directly from the First Lady, it is very obvious that they are trying to dissuade the narrative by producing these two photos, which are easily debunked. Here's a second reason that I would say major red flags. Rather than just producing what should be ample evidence of your existence for the first 30 years of your life, they're suing. Yes, the First Lady actually sued two of the journalists that were involved in producing the story. Brigitte Macron, here's a headline from the Telegraph, Brigitte Macron sues women who claimed that she is transgendered. Well, something to note is what exactly...
Now peep this, y'all. Peep what she's suing them for. Not defamation, not assassination of character. Peep what she's suing them for with the lawsuit sites.
Brigitte is suing for. She's suing them for violation of privacy and fundamental personal rights, plus illicit use of her image. But what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything.
Oh, God.
Like, why don't...
Like, to tell me that I'm wrong, don't say, hey, yeah, you posted my picture up there. I'm like, so wait, is it wrong or not? Well, no, I'm suing you.
Well, you're exposing too much, really.
Oh, so I'm not wrong. I'm just getting sued because I'm exposing. Okay.
You say you completely lied and I can prove it and I'm going to ruin your entire lives, which you would just have to show, again, pictures of your first 30 years of life. But no, this is really just a tactic to pretend as if these journalists didn't produce concrete proof to substantiate their claims. Now, the two journalists being sued, by the way, are Amandine Roy and Natasha Ray, and they were eventually punished with symbolic fines for, I guess, invading the privacy of the First Lady. It's going to get even crazier, though, because journalists that worked on this case were also threatened.
Oh, boy.
They sent the police to threaten them while they were conducting research. Natasha Ray, the woman that was punished with a symbolic fine, as she was conducting research, she reached out to somebody to ask some questions about the First Lady's upbringing, the first 30 years of the First Lady's life. And then what happened as she was examining these inconsistencies in the story was the police burst into her home on July 13th, 2021. They then took her into custody without being summoned, on the pretext of a complaint that was filed by one of the individuals that she had reached out to, Catherine Audoy. She was then released after 5 hours of tough interrogation with a lesson. And you shouldn't be doing this. They tried to humiliate her. They tried to threaten her. And of course, this only made the public even more interested in the story. She was also asked to produce a list of journalists with whom she had been in contact with.
Oh.
The police also seized her phone. That is not normal. None of this should be happening in a story that, again, would be so easy to debunk.
So they pretty much
similarly arrested.
Yeah, shut her down, cover up. Now it turned into a cover up. It should have just been a simple, here's some photos of me, accusations over. Nope, we got to cover everything up. We got to make sure this don't hit the light of day.
A full shakedown.
Oh, God. And if we can, man, maybe we can get these girls.
Yeah, because
I'm supposed a little too much.
Out of sight, out of mind.
And what else could they know? If they know this, what else might they know?
Man,
A man
Better off
named
hitting
Eric
gone than
Verhey,
here.
another journalist working on the story, similarly had no charges. They just wanted to question him. I don't know, guys. You tell me, what are you thinking? If you're alleging that somebody was a man for the first 30 years of their life, why go through these efforts when you could just show photos? But of course, obviously, to tell a lie this big, you'd have to have a very good memory. This is actually something that Judge Judy used to say. I used to love watching Judge Judy when I was young with my grandma. And she used to say, if you don't lie, you don't have to have a good memory. But if you lie, you got to have a very good memory. And what keeps happening throughout the years of her being the first lady, so since 2017, every time the first lady tells a story about herself in her childhood, the math doesn't quite math, right? For example, she recalled living alone in the United States during Neil Armstrong's moon landing in 1969. The only problem is that she would have been just 16 years old. What? 16-year-old living alone in the United States?
16-year-old French girl?
But if the theory is true...
But if it's a French man...
Oh, yeah.
It makes a little bit more sense. Back in those days, for real. Teenagers out on their own all the time.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
That she's actually Jean-Michel, who is 8 years older, which would make the First Lady 78 years old today, and that story would make perfect sense. Because, of course, you could live alone when you are 24 years old in the United States. Again, there are multiple examples of the First Lady just being too young in terms of the past stories that she keeps telling. Then there is the remarkably strange case of Brigitte's alleged ex-husband. So just to remind you, jog your memory, the story goes, she was married, right? And at the age of 40 years old, she fell in love, so much so that she left her husband because she just loved this 16-year-old or 15-year-old or 14-year-old drama student so much. She left her husband and her 3 kids to be with him, okay? So it should be pretty easy to find her ex-husband.
So you got older women with an established family, multiple kids, and a husband who left for what she considered a prodigy, a child genius.
You know what's funny? That kind of sounds like a gay man's story more than anything. Oh, he had a family.
Sounds like the story of a fucking predator, nigga.
Bro, a predator too. You're right, a predator, but also a gay predator.
Oh my God.
Because I'm gonna be real. It kind of just sounds like the dude who had a family, found a man that he wanted to be with and ran off. And then he turned himself into a woman.
This is weird because you have a power dynamic of her being his teacher.
Hold on.
So this is where you have
actually a man. That mean there can't be no record of her husband then, because she had kids with somebody that. Okay, hold on. Let's go.
That she had 3 kids with. But it turns out that they can't find that man.
What the?
Yeah, back when Emmanuel Macron was elected president, journalists all over the world, international journalists, were obviously prying into his background and her background, and they just could not find this man. Allegedly, his name is André Louis Auxier, and internationally, they just couldn't locate him. What? Allegedly, he is a banker, or was a banker, because now they say he died, just suddenly died. But he was allegedly a banker, so it's very weird there wouldn't be a trail for journalists to find him. In 2017, during the presidential election...
But where are these kids? That's what I'm wondering, too.
They tried to interview him, and it was all of their attempts in vain. In fact, in an article that was published in French magazine, Gala magazine, they titled the article, "As If He Had Never Existed." So that is in the year that he became president. They were just like, this other guy doesn't really seem to exist. It also seems to be the case that every time the press is trying to assist the narrative that he did exist, they keep accidentally showing photos of other men. For example, in 2018, France 3 TV produced a movie entitled Brigitte Macron, un roman français. And they showed this photo very quickly, featuring Brigitte and her first husband, André Louis Auxier. But it turns out that upon inspection, that actually isn't him. It's actually an old faculty photo, because it has been confirmed that Brigitte was a teacher. Obviously, that's how she fell in love with young student Emmanuel. And here is the full photo of the faculty. Oopsies, we got it wrong again. Guys, when I tell you that there is so much proof.
Shout out Candace, because you could tell the amount of research she's put in to uncover this story.
Yeah.
There's a trail of lies, a pattern of misinformation that they've put out just to cover this French first lady's background, her history.
Yeah, but photo after photo after photo, and you're telling me all of them come back as lies is wild.
Negative. No.
After a certain while,
wrong.
I'm just like, all right, it don't matter. It don't matter what you tell me and what you show me. She's a man now.
Y'all clearly lying.
Yeah, because there ain't no way you're gonna show me three, four things. They get proven as lies, and I just keep on believing what you're showing me.
Just tell us she's a man. It's much easier to come out with the truth.
Man, fuck it. I ain't even gonna let you tell me anything else. I'm just like, no, I'm gonna go with what you don't want me to believe.
Yeah, just
to this claim. I'm not a person that just pushes out these narratives, right? I'm not a person that's like, come with me and we're going to examine QAnon or Pizzagate. I am telling you that this has legs. And you know it has legs because the press is doing their usual bit of trying to dismiss it as a far-right conspiracy theory that is being pushed by people who are backwards and racist and homophobes and transphobes. No, you're not going to do that. You're not going to gaslight us anymore. It is very simple to debunk this. It is so simple to debunk this. There should be so much evidence. In fact, if this was me and someone lied about the first 30 years of my life, I would do a press conference. I would have my brother there. I'd be like, here's my brother, John Michael. Yes, we do look alike, okay? But you guys are crazy. And then I would have college friends there. I had tons of photos of me growing up, my entire family.
Yeah, if there was no basis, they would have been killed this shit. They would have been put this shit to rest. But there's a base. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And obviously there's something there. There's like she said, it has legs. There's something that they don't want us to know with that.
Yeah.
Family, and then I would say it is harmful to produce conspiracy theories. Now that we have debunked this, let's talk about the harm of conspiracy theories. They're not doing any of that. Instead, they're just scrambling. Okay. Why is this story really important? Why am I asking you to share it? Well, because like I said, we should have known about this. It's been going on since 2017.
So this has been under investigation since 2017, and we're just now getting all the facts rolled out.
Wait a minute.
Wild.
But also because what they are saying
cover their tracks first.
is that
man,
the
I
reason
hope they would,
the press
but
is
not good
covering
enough.
this, right?
You told me y'all couldn't have like fake some death certificates, create like a profile or anything for these people. So just in case this comes back on us. But then, oh yeah, when you're a liar, you need to have good memory, and all these lies coming back, and you can't possibly just be like, oh yeah, I did tell them that. I did tell them that like 5 years ago. I did tell them that like just last year.
We usually have to think of a story to tell them. We at least have to have a story in the chamber when they ask.
Or a consistent story, if anything.
You would have thought that's what they would have came up with, but instead it's been years of inconsistency, and it's led back to the fact that nobody believes anything that their camp is putting out.
Yeah, not anymore.
The state media is covering this is because what's really happening here is two individuals were selected to be the leaders of a nation. They were selected on the principle of blackmail, is what they are saying. They are saying that they selected these two individuals because they can control them, because they created the wife, right? Because they know the history here. And they can basically say, here is what you're going to do, Emmanuel, Macron, and Brigitte. You are going to pass through these policies. And there's nothing that you can do to stop whatever it is that we want to accomplish because we control you. Again, we made you. So again, all across the nation in France, they're even having protests. They're wearing wigs that resemble the wig that Brigitte wears and demanding the truth about this situation. And if this is...
Imagine the whole country knowing about your secret to the point to where they show up to the protest with a fake wig, the same color wig you wear, and march around like that's your real hair.
Oh God, going like, bro, come on now, let's tell us the truth. Why you lying?
Wait a minute.
Like, we know you a man. Just take that shit off and just be the first elected gay couple.
Hey, it's France. Y'all been known for shit like that.
Oh God.
Proven to be fact. And again, I'm going to link this. You should read it. It's like 16 chapters. It took me 2 days to read through all of it, and my jaw was on the floor. But if it is proven true, then what we are unpacking here is exactly what we are unpacking in America, that blackmail is what rules the world. And that's all I have to say about that. If you're like most Americans, you're struggling.
All right, but now she did do a second part.
Has a psychotic person to ask why Macron finally. All right, guys, so we were trending in France yesterday. Yeah, Candace Owens trending in France. Kind of a big deal. I love that. Why?
Hey.
For conducting basic research, for conducting a very basic investigation into the credible claims that Brigitte Macron was actually born Jean-Michel Trogneux and lived for 30 years as a man before transitioning into a woman. And guess what? Emmanuel Macron, he's mad. You guys, he's big mad about this. Check out this headline coming from the Daily Mail. It says, furious, Emmanuel Macron finally speaks out over claims his wife Brigitte was born a man. He's furious, guys. He's really mad.
Goddamn stepdaughter reintroduced the rumor in an interview. So you got his own stepdaughter with insight to the family talking about that shit on an interview in the open public. Man, I would say that where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, and that is wild as hell.
You don't have to know all the details to be curious and to start to think like, okay, maybe not the first 30 years, but the first 20 years of her life.
You're furious?
There's something there.
Bro, if everybody out here calling my wife a man, and I know clearly she's a woman, then I just start.
She's not a fucking man.
I'll be so relaxed. I'll be like, look, bro, I'm just about to release all this information. It's gonna go under the water. But now, if you're telling me I'm getting exposed for dating a man, I might be a little upset.
Right.
I might be a little furious.
They ask you for documentation
that you don't got
to support that she was actually a woman her whole life, and you just, like you said, you ain't got it.
Oh Lord,
I'll be salty,
man.
Quit asking, goddamn, y'all embarrassing me.
Oh God, I have to be about shit. I ain't gonna lie, man. Niggas might have to start handing out.
For real, anybody who talking about it about to die.
Man,
he's so furious. What is he gonna do? Well, I would suggest he just shows photos from the first 30 years of his wife's life. It really is that simple. So much anger, so many names, so many insults, so many ad hominem attacks. No attempt to just debunk it. So easy, guys. It really is so easy. Now, why does this matter? Some people are asking, why does it matter? I just want to ask those people back, are you insane? Are you a crazy person to ask why something this big would matter? Yeah. I mean, it would mean that France is being led potentially by a psychopathic liar.
2 men.
And a pedophile. Yeah. Those would be the...
Yeah, 2 psychopathic liars, and one of them is a pedophile.
And a predator.
Boy, it's wild. And y'all just saying, why does this matter? Like, what? Like, what's wrong with y'all? So the whole country, in fact, allegedly is run by a pathological liar. Well, 2 pathological liars and 1 pedophile.
Habitual liars at this point. They've shown a pattern of lying.
And just because she's first lady, it's first lady. The first lady don't decide nothing. I'm like, what you mean? The first lady is in the ear of the president. The first lady is damn near the lady of the people.
She has a great deal of power as well.
Yeah. Like,
maybe she's not signing laws and legislation, but don't think she doesn't have influence.
Oh, she has hell influence. You see how Michelle Obama was walking around this bitch.
She took the goddamn honey buns out the vending machines at school. If y'all was in high school during that era, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about.
She had power.
The implications, if this was proven to be true, it would also mean that the entire press in France is implicated in trying to cover up this massive lie. Why else does it matter? I don't know. Take a look at a tweet that was written from this French national. It translates loosely into, the madness is that we French people turned a blind eye in 2017, accepting that a child vampirized by an adult becomes our leader without even...
Low key, like a pretty much, it's almost like on some ancient Greek shit. Like, yeah, back in ancient Greek, like a blacksmith would have a little boy, and that boy would be his little booty toy.
Wait a minute.
Right? And this is kind of what it was. An older man came up on this dude and said, all right, yeah, we gonna get you in politics and all that good stuff, and I'm gonna mentor you. You know, you're just gonna be my butt. You're gonna be my boy toy.
Cause goddamn.
Yep, 30-year-old man on a 15-year-old is wild. But then turn that 15-year-old into president. Wild.
Worrying about morals and ethics without even recognizing that this necessarily has a psychotic impact on the guy. Yeah, in other words, it matters a lot. Because as I said, it would mean that France, very similar to America, has no press. We all would just have an extension of the government that is pretending to report the news. And this time, the news, I think it's very credible if they actually want to report on it. The story here seems incredibly credible. And I think it's more credible due to the unbelievable level of gaslighting that is going on. Gosh, the entire French press, the mainstream press, attacks me. Conspiracy theory, debunked, far right, transphobe, blah, 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 blah. These magic tricks don't work anymore. You guys, wake up. It doesn't work anymore. We don't care anymore. The people of all of these countries are tired of routinely being called names.
We want the truth. Y'all could label us conspiracy theorists. Y'all could label us right wing, whatever, extremists.
Far right conspiracy theory is crazy, though.
Motherfuckers want the truth. We tired of being lied to by these governments. We tired of being lied to by these entities, by these
And this is why they call it
leaders.
far right truth, because the left indulges in all the lies. The left is going to tell you that well, no, let's not hop into that one.
Yeah.
But the left's going to tell you a lot of things that's not right. Actually, you know what? I'm going to tell you one thing they can't. The left is going to tell you that being fat is okay. They're going to tell you that eating unhealthy is okay.
And the second you get to question any of it, you're a conspiracy theorist.
Bro, the left will tell you being broke and letting immigrants destroy your country is okay.
It's all right.
Look,
They got it bad in their country and they need a place to stay. And we should help them out as
but
Americans.
for some reason on the right side, they say we're being invaded, which we are, which is the truth. But on the left side, they're telling you, oh, no, this is not an invasion. We're just letting them in, give them whatever.
America was built off of immigration.
When you guys have no
It ain't
evidence
nothing
to
but
the
America
contrary.
being America, baby.
And maybe the reason
Yeah,
that
it's the
people like me
liberals,
exist, maybe the reason that people like me have a platform is because you guys have lied about absolutely everything. And you just keep getting caught in lies. Example, COVID. It called out that fraud from the beginning. And now everybody's kind of admitting we maybe got it wrong. No. You always knew you had it wrong. You were testing how much power you had internationally when it came to COVID.
Schwarzenegger says, screw your liberties when it comes to illness 19. He says, screw your goddamn liberties and your personal rights and your American rights and all that shit. You have none when it comes to illness 19.
People to comply with nonsense. Also BLM, I was immediately questioning where all that money was going. And then I revealed that to be a fraud in an entire documentary. Donald Trump, oh, he's just like Adolf Hitler. That was a lie. Russia, Ukraine, Hunter Biden's
Donald Trump to
laptop.
Adolf
You
is
guys
crazy.
literally cannot stop lying. So what I get to do is actually very simple and it's very fun. My job is actually so easy. All I have to do is not lie and not gaslight the public. When they have a question,
Oh God, it makes our job a little easier too. All we give y'all guys is the truth. We go to people who got the truth, we research it ourselves, and then we give it right here to y'all. You're welcome.
Y'all hate on Candace, but she just told y'all damn near in y'all face, y'all make her job easy. All she has to do is tell the goddamn truth.
Oh God.
Quit lying and Candace disappears.
Yeah, and the funny thing, most of the lies y'all tell can be seen with the naked eye. It's crazy.
I mean, with some critical thought, but we know how common sense is.
Yeah.
I try to answer that question. So let's briefly recap these claims. And you guys, if you don't know what we're talking about, please go back and watch Monday's episode. It's already got more than 1 million views. People all over the world are paying attention because, as I said, the lies being told in the press right now are an absolute nonsense. We'll briefly recap it here. Number one, the claim is that Brigitte Macron lived as a man named Jean-Michel or John Michael for 30 years before becoming Brigitte. Here's a side-by-side photo. Instantly very credible.
Some of this we've
Number
already
two,
covered.
Brigitte Macron claims that no. Jean-Michel is her brother. Problem is that her brother's missing. Her brother, who she claims is alive, we just cannot turn up anywhere. It'd be very easy for her to just go on a little walk and say, here is Jean-Michel. We just happen to look alike, but no, Brigitte Macron refuses to do that. And then in terms of genealogical data, people prowling through the internet and looking, what they have revealed is that a person named Jean-Michel existed for about 30 years and then just stopped existing. And
All right,
perhaps
she
even
covered
more
this all
bizarre,
before. All right, let's see here where she goes into an update.
they're going to build upon something that people don't quite understand. So I want to make it clear for you. The question is, well, how does she have children if she was a man? You can see some resemblance between her and Trefane, definitely, right? Candace, this just couldn't have happened. This is ridiculous. Well, guys, the claim is that she fathered the children. Again, I'm saying this allegedly, and I'm going to take you through this theory.
Come on,
the claim is that while living as a man,
she had the kids.
Jean-Michel fathered children.
Yeah.
And those are the 3 children that you are seeing today. So we're going to slow that part down. So remember, the international press could not find a single trace of her alleged ex-husband, who was allegedly a big banker. Just kind of a weird thing when you can't find a big...
So they said it was a stepchild. So that means the first lady's kids came and think, yeah, I think my mom's a man. Or maybe they been doing it, just hinting at it. Like, yeah, y'all been lied to. My mom's like a man.
And that's what I'm saying. Man. So you would imagine stepchildren, biological children will have deeper insight than the general public as to what's going on behind closed doors, behind family walls. So if they're coming out on interviews in the public and saying that, yeah, they might have, I don't know, a rift between their mother or father in this case, whatever you want to call them. But if they're coming out and saying this in a public interview, knowing that there might be some backlash, there has to be some truth to this shit. Has to be. I'm not going to come out and saying anything in public that there might be ramifications to. Allegedly. If I know that there's no truth to it. I'm just talking out my ass and I'm going to get in trouble for this? Nah, I'm saying this shit, but I'm not talking out my ass.
Yeah. You got to be precise when you say shit like this. Real precise.
There's some shit going on.
Banker.
I'm trying to let y'all know.
They said that his name was Andre Louis Auxier. That would have been his full name, Andre Louis Auxier. He was listed as the sub-director of the regional delegation of the Banque Française du Commerce Extérieur, so the French Bank of Commerce Exterior in Strasbourg. The only issue is that there is no record of that bank in the banking sector. Oopsies. So as the press began prodding into that matter further, suddenly Brigitte's daughter, Trifane, announces that he's dead. He died suddenly, you guys. Yep, and she's got all these weird quotations speaking to the Paris match.
Yeah, the kids aren't on it then, because they're going like, okay, well, if we're going to expose anybody, we need to expose who the hell birthed y'all if it wasn't the guy that...
okay, yeah, they're dead. We made it up.
Yeah, you feel me? So, like, all right, cool. We figured out that the guy's a lie and dude's actually a man. He fathered some children. Then who is the girl he got pregnant? That's who we need to find. What happened to this lady? Is she in a dungeon somewhere? We need an SOS on this lady right now.
Made that up for money.
Yeah, but like, so we know there's no dude, but like that means there's a female.
There has to be.
But where's this female?
That's a good question.
Man.
Trifane Auxier confirmed her father's passing, saying, quote, "My father died. I buried him on December 24th in the strictest privacy," is what she told the publication. "I adored him," she went on to say. "He was a being apart, a nonconformist who valued his anonymity more than anything. He must be respected." That's an interesting way of putting things together. Like basically saying, stop, if you want it to be private, don't look into anything. You must respect this
nigga was anonymous
dead man, my father. By the way, that very sad if your dad died. Just kind of, I think, strange last words kind of feels like a warning, a threat almost, not to look any further. The only problem about that quotation is that she apparently got the date wrong. The public record reveals that he died on December 24th. Remember, she said she buried him on December 24th. Public record reveals he died then, and then he was cremated on December 28th. Now, again...
Can't die and get buried on the same day.
I just want to state, the person that can't even be located is now suddenly dead, and his daughter is maybe confusing the dates. Very strange. Now, the only photo that they have ever presented from the alleged wedding between Brigitte, now Brigitte Macron, and her first seemingly non-existent husband is this one, right? You might see this photo circulating around. They say this is a photo. Yeah, no, this photo was actually debunked. It was proven, what they did is they made it bigger, that actually that was a photo of a man named Jean-Louis Auxier with his first wife, Susan Spray.
Okay.
Now you ask the question, why would Jean-Louis Auxier, that is in fact a photo of him and his first wife, not come out and say, hey, that's actually me and my first wife, and the Macrons, Brigitte Macron is using that photo and it's circulating. This is absolute fraud. You also note that he has the same last name as her children and her alleged first husband, Auxier. What's going on here? This seems really weird. Apparently, he's somehow related to her non-existent husband. What? Let's look into this, and I'm going to unpack this very slowly for you. Here is the theory, and again, I want to state that I believe it is credible based on the press reaction and the non-debunking that is taking place. Again, this is just a theory. The theory is that Jean-Louis, that person that you just saw, the person pictured in that wedding photo, was extremely close with Jean-Michel Trogneau, now Brigitte Macron, right? Him and Jean-Michel Trogneau were exceedingly close. In fact, he is a fellow faculty member at the school, La Providence. And also, Jean-Michel fathered children, 3 children, with his niece, a woman named Brigitte Proba Ozier. Quite confusing. Let's slow that down, right? The person whose photo they used, Jean-Louis, has a niece named Brigitte Ozier. I'm showing you guys a photo right here. Brigitte Proba Ozier, who then Jean-Michel, now the First Lady of France, fathered 3 children with. So when then Jean-Michel...
Okay, so we found the lady. So that's the lady then. So that's the lady. So that guy's niece. So he pretty much...
That's the mother of the children?
Yep. Sis wild speculation is that, yeah, they were friends. Okay, boom. You had kids with my daughter, but we need to make you a woman so you can be First Lady of France. So we're going to hide
this story.
Hide this story. Hide my daughter. Hide my niece, because that's his niece. And yeah, this is how we're going to swipe the whole mother under the rug so you can go ahead and say you mothered them.
How do they think this shit would never unravel?
Bro, they're cocky. They think everybody's idiots. Like, think about it like this. When you're able to control TV and put something so ridiculous on TV and people believe it, imagine how cocky you would be after that. And bro, it's like how you talk to somebody, no matter what you tell them, they believe you.
When you can control the mainstream narrative, yeah.
Bro, no, it's the superpower is no matter what I tell you, you believe me, then they're always gonna assume you're an idiot.
Well, just about.
Or yeah, well,
I can say the skies are green and you'll believe it. It's because I said it.
And you won't even go outside to test the theory.
Stupid.
Yeah, so that's how they look at majority of the world. Well, whatever we tell you, you're going to believe it.
So we keep telling y'all bullshit.
Oh, God.
decided to transition after fathering these 3 children with his...
After they put it on the news, they assume everybody believe it.
Yeah. I mean, well, what are you going to do? Just call out the mainstream news as liars?
Yeah.
We'll paint you as a conspiracy theorist.
Man, all knows what that gets you.
Niece, Jean-Louis helped his friend because, well, he was basically family, right? Fathered children with my niece. You are basically family. I am going to help you with this transition. And how did he help his friend? Well, it's alleged that Jean-Louis has extremely close ties to the Secret Service of France. So that made it very easy, or at least easier. What they did here is almost a sleight of hand.
Individuals.
Brigitte Proba Auxier, his niece, and the mother of Jean-Michel Trogneau's children already existed, right? So you have Brigitte already existing. So what they did was they transitioned Jean-Michel with the same name. They made Jean-Michel Brigitte because it makes it more confusing. And then they just created a fake husband, Andre Louis, who never existed, at least according to public record. It's very difficult to find this man.
Damn.
And again, it was a perfect sleight of hand.
God damn.
Because now...
They created a whole fake husband.
Bro.
Switched the niece out with Brigitte, and
Who's actually the father?
the whole time. Jeez.
We damn near need like a whiteboard to make it all make sense.
Whoa, yeah, to illustrate this.
Yeah,
for y'all.
to illustrate it, but we just need a fucking whiteboard. But hopefully y'all can think about it.
Hopefully y'all kept up with that, cause I'm hanging on by a thread myself.
Yeah, it's like okay. Well, this person's that guy.
Oh, they just go, Brigitte Auxier does or did exist. No, that's a niece. He helped out his friend. And the story gets darker and even more twisted.
That's what I'm saying. So what happened to this niece, that father, that mothered these children that this nigga's claiming that he mothered?
Wait a minute.
It's wild.
And killed a bitch.
Oh, Lord. God forbid.
Again, you guys, I am slow walking you through it because they meant for all of this to be confusing. We're not done covering this. right? Because personally, you guys should know this out in France. Me personally, I love a challenge. I love when the media goes all in and starts using
confusing,
words
it
like
sounds
conspiracy
ridiculous.
theory and crazy and far
fake.
right, because it's what they've done
would?
for
How
years.
would?
And
Why
the
would you put all
people
this
are
effort
waking
in?
up to it. Like I said, the magic trick does not work anymore. We are asking you to do a very basic thing here. Show us the photos of the 30 years. If we're so crazy and so conspiratorial, please just show us the photos of Brigitte Macron's upbringing. It would be so simple. In fact, it is crazy that the furious Macron won't just do that. It is crazy that the press is scrambling to protect this narrative. It is so obviously fraudulent to not do something so basic and so easy that would dissuade all of these rumors. And guess what? Now it's not just a big story happening in France, it's a big story happening in America. There are several journalists that are planning some big exposés into this matter. So be warned, French press. I wouldn't want to be on the side of evil, on the side of lies, but who am I to tell you what to do? And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, that was yeah, we'll go about that. That's a little.
I'll let that ride out right there.
Yeah. So, all right, closing thoughts. We got a good 5 minutes for closing thoughts.
I think that this shit should be more of a breaking news story because I'm getting tired of these politicians and world leaders painting narratives, controlling mainstream news media outlets just to control the narrative, and the whole time they're lying, playing in our face with facts and information that's available to us, but the general consumer, the general population is probably just not looking for this shit. So that's why we're here, to bring you this type of shit, uncover these type of stories. We hope y'all really enjoyed that. What you think about that shit?
Man, that shit was crazy. My first time hearing it, bro, I had to do my own little research on. I'm like, all right, we covered the president of France before, like with the French riots, but then we never covered the wife. Now you tell me that his wife's a man, and this dude's already been known for doing some weirdo shit. Like, yeah, your country's burning down and you're partying.
Yep.
But so now your country's
Let his
in a
country get
riot,
burnt to ashes.
and you're over here with the transgender first lady lying
Who groomed
to
you your whole life,
bro. Yeah, your groomer. Yeah, you put your groomer in
Damn
a
near your
powerful
handler.
position.
Yep.
And now all of France is looking crazy.
Man, it's crazy,
Bro, it's an embarrassment. Like, France will go
It's
down as a country
crazy.
who let a transgender first
Run
lady,
their goddamn country, pretty
bro,
much.
walk up in that motherfucker as if she's a real woman.
And like I said, man, shout out Candace Owens for uncovering these type of stories, man. She really puts in the research to deep dive into this type of shit that most people aren't covering. Bringing it to you, bringing it to us. We've brought it to y'all. Her content has gone crazy on our page. Y'all seem to have liked when we cover her shit, and I mean, for good reason. She's definitely well versed in her shit. So, and I want to shout out to y'all for 1,000 subscribers. Not sure if we said that or not, but shout out to y'all for keeping up with us. If you're new here, S.E.T Key Media. Hope y'all like the content, man. Stick around, man. We gonna keep going up. What else do we got from S.E.T?
All right, yeah, and actually, we'll make sure you go follow Candace on her channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to here as well. And we'll end. I believe we're one of the very few reaction channels to even do this. We're one of the very few reaction channels to cover geopolitical politics. So we appreciate y'all. If y'all want more of this content,